Today, we are going to prepare and explain the food chemistry principles of making an angel food cake. The first thing to do is to preheat the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Before we prepare our ingredients, we're going to wash our hands for a minimum of 20 seconds. To begin, you will need 350 grams of granulated sugar, 130 grams of cake flour, 4 teaspoons of salt, 12 egg whites at room temperature, which is very important, 1.5 teaspoons of cream of tartar, and finally 1.5 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. Optionally, in this recipe, we added powdered sugar and berries for decoration. We first need to separate the 12 large egg whites and let them rest for a couple of minutes in order to make sure they are room temperature. The next step is to pulse the granulated sugar into super refined sugar. Use a food processor or blender for this step, since it will make it part of the mixture and the texture that we're looking for. Make sure to set aside 1 cup of the super refined sugar. To the sugar and the food processor, you want to add the cake flour and salt in order to make a homogeneous mixture. The next step is to beat the egg whites and the cream of tartar together. You want to beat them on medium to low speed until foamy. Turn the mixture up to medium-high and slowly add 1 cup of the super fine sugar you set aside. In this step, Angel Food Cake demonstrates the food science principle of protein denaturation and foam formation. When egg whites are beaten, air is incorporated and proteins begin to unfold, creating a stable foam structure. Adding cream of tartar helps stabilize this foam by lowering the pH, which prevents the proteins from collapsing. Later on, when the cake bakes, heat causes the proteins to fully denature and set, trapping air and giving the cake its light, airy texture. Once soft peaks have formed, you want to swiftly and gently fold in the dry ingredients in 3 separate additions. With a rubber spatula, fold and mix in the dry ingredients carefully to prevent any air bubbles or the mixture from collapsing. In this step, you also want to add the vanilla. Before pouring the batter, it is important to note to not grease the tube pan. Greasing the pan down the sides prevents it from properly rising. A butt pan won't work either. Pour and spread the batter into a 10-inch tube pan and bake at 325 degrees Fahrenheit.
Our method of heat transfer for this cake is convection. This is a process that occurs when heat moving through liquids and gases due to the actual movement of the warmer, less dense fluid rising and the cooler, denser fluid sinking. This continuous circulation happening inside the oven creates a convection current that distributes heat throughout the substance, in this case our cake batter.
While it's baking, we can prep our toppings of choice. Once the cake comes out the oven, it's important to check for the internal temperature that ensures proper food safety, which would be 206 degrees Fahrenheit.
Checking the internal temperature is important for food safety because it ensures that harmful bacteria are killed, reducing the risk of foodborne illness.
You want to let it rest on a cooling rack for 3 hours. Once done cooling, you're going to use a butter knife down the sides and the hole of the mold. Tap the pan on the counter a few times to help loosen the cake and then flip it upside down to get a perfect angel food cake. As mentioned before, we chose to decorate it with berries, and for a finishing touch, we sifted some powdered sugar on top. Slice with a serrated knife and serve. Thank you for watching our video on the science behind angel food cake. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.